Hi everyone, we're gonna start with making the sage butter. So you'll need sage's leaf. I'm using dry ones. It looks like that. You can also use fresh ones. It just works just the same. Just these are easier to keep for a longer duration. I'm only gonna make a little bit of sage butter because I'm only using it for coating my pastas, but you can make more if you want to, I don't know, cook some meat with it, for example. Sage butter is really simple. You just need butter and sage leaves. So I'm gonna melt my butter slowly, and once that's done, I'll put some of the sage leaves in it and let it infuse. The fat in the butter is gonna absorb the sage scent and perfume, and that's how you're gonna be left with a sage flavored butter.
Follow me to where the rivers bleed. Tell me I belong to you. Feel the grass crumble beneath your feet. Set me free and let me loose. Take my heart, for it is your skin. Shackle my spirit to you. You are mine and mine eternally.
As you can see, you don't have a lot of it, but proportionally it's already quite a lot, and that's just because I like it with a strong flavor. If you're not big on sage or you're not sure that people who are gonna eat the plate are, just diminish the quantity. A few leaves goes a long way. We're gonna let that sit and let it infuse over really low heat. In the meantime, I'm gonna prepare my pasta, so I'm only making it for one person. So I'm using T00 flour, and you'll need about 100 grams. You have the translation in cups in the article. This is enough for one person if it's your main course, and it should be enough for two if it's just a side dish. Drill a little well in it and put one egg. If you want to make more of it, because you are not alone, you just have to keep that proportion of one egg for 100 grams of flour. First, give it a rough make through with a fork. You don't need any fancy equipment, but you can also do that with a mixer. I just want here to show that you don't need any fancy equipment to actually make really good fresh pasta. When it starts to come together, get your hands in there and start mixing it. A little after a little, the dough is gonna come together, so just be patient and get a little bit of energy in there.
Touch the rain and feel the summer breeze. Say the things we've never said. I'll keep you from the world.
Now that it's kind of coming together, I'm gonna put a little bit of salt just to season a little, but the main seasoning is gonna come from the salt that we're gonna put in the boiling water. So another round of mixing the pasta. As you can see, it's coming together and it's getting finer and finer. Also, I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil just to moisten it a little bit more, and further down the video you'll see that I also add a tap bit of water. So you just have to go with your feeling over that. It's just, you'll see, it doesn't have to get sticky, but you need to get all the flour in there and yet be able to work the dough.
Set me free and let me loose. Take my heart, for it is your skin. Shackle my spirit to you. You are mine and mine eternally.
As the dough feels a bit dry, add a little bit more of oil and also water. If, just like I'm gonna do in a few seconds, you add too much of it, don't worry, you can just put a little more flour on top. The thing you need to know is that your dough shouldn't stick to your hands, but yet be a little bit elastic. My dough is now smooth and ready to go. We're gonna go to the next step, which is cutting your pasta in the shape that you like. But first of all, a little bit more of sport, I would say. We're gonna spread the pasta over my working board. To make sure it doesn't stick, I put some flour. Just use any regular cheap flour. You don't need anything special. It just ensures that you be able to make it really thin without it sticking to your board. You're gonna see that I'm gonna aim for a rather rectangular long shape, and that's because I'm gonna make tagliatelle or spaghetti, whatever you want to call it. That's why when we get to the cutting part, you'll understand why I'm shaping it in this kind of format. Your dough should be about 1 to 2 millimeter thick, so just keep going until you can't do anything thinner than what you have. The dough is now ready, and as I said before, make sure that you have a long piece of dough because we're going to cut it on that side, so it will make stripes, which are going to be our pastas. To do so, what you need to do is to actually roll your dough, so on the short side. You don't have to press your dough, because if you do, it's gonna stick. Make sure you have flour on each side, and once you have this regular roll of dough, just get a cutting board and a sharp knife, and let's get slicing. I have a vibe all inside of my head, so from the flesh to the bones I dread, and you can cut it thin like I do, or larger, just like you want it to be. See, when you unroll each slice, it makes one pasta. From the flesh to the bones I dread, and even when the darkness knows yours. My pasta are now ready to get cooked. My water is heating up. See, I've got a good amount, and after a little bit of steam comes out of my water, I'm gonna add some salt to season it and let it come to real boil while I strain my butter, which was still infusing all this time. So I'm gonna remove all the leaves first and have it ready for my pastas when they are cooked. As you can see, the butter didn't change in terms of color, and it didn't go brown because I kept it on a low heat. So I can put that aside and move on to cooking my pastas. When my water gets to real boil, I just drop the pasta in there. Nothing special here, just make sure they're not sticking together when you drop them into the water, but it should be fine. And since it's fresh pasta, it cooks pretty fast, only a few minutes, like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm not gonna teach you how to cook pasta, just try it and see along. While it's cooking, I'm gonna cut thinly a few dried tomatoes just to put a little bit of colors on my plate. When the pasta are cooked, I just remove them from the water, put them in the butter which was just sitting on the side, and sprinkle with some dried tomato. Here you go, homemade pasta. Enjoy, guys!